Imagine living in a city where a strange taste in your tea, a sudden illness, or an unfamiliar smell from a neighbor's house could spark a full-blown panic. A city where rumors spread faster than official announcements. A city without forensics, without modern medicine, and with more than 1 million people packed into wooden neighborhoods. This was Edo, old Tokyo, the largest city of the pre-modern world. And for nearly 2 centuries, Edo lived under the shadow of a recurring fear. The fear of poisoning. Not because poisoners were everywhere, but because everything looked like poison, and nobody had the tools to prove otherwise. This is the story of Edo's poisoning panic, a tale of rumor, superstition, neighborhood surveillance, and the terrifying power of uncertainty. Edo was a miracle of human engineering, but also a nightmare. Over 1 million people lived shoulder to shoulder in cramped wooden homes. With this came frequent epidemics, contaminated wells, bad food storage, no sewage system, no germ theory, no forensic science. When someone got sick, the causes were unclear. When someone died suddenly, explanations were even harder to find. And in that vacuum of uncertainty, rumors thrived. Diaries from the 1700s and 1800s describe neighborhoods swept into panic by unusual tastes in tea, sudden vomiting, discoloration in water, strange powders, unfamiliar visitors, whispers of someone poisoning wells. Most of these incidents had natural explanations, but in Edo people feared what they could not confirm. Poison was a deeply rooted fear in Edo for 3 major reasons. Reason 1, dangerous substances were everywhere. Many everyday items were toxic. Arsenic as rat poison, cinnabar with mercury, realgar with arsenic sulfide, aconite in medicine, spoiled sake with mold or copper, contaminated well water. People lived surrounded by things that could kill them, accidentally or otherwise. Reason 2, real poison murders happened. Though rare, records exist of marital revenge, inheritance disputes, jealous lovers, competitive shop owners. These cases stuck in the public imagination. Reason 3, Kabuki and fiction amplified the fear. Kabuki plays loved poison, femme fatale poisoners, tea house murders, snake venom assassins, ghostly poisoning scenes. What was fiction for entertainment became evidence in the collective fear of Edo residents. Here is the core of Edo's problem. There was no scientific way to confirm whether someone was poisoned. Doctors diagnosed using smell, pulse, color of vomit, comparisons with herbal manuals. Different doctors offered different explanations. One said food poisoning, another said bad air, another said poison. The public trusted none of them. A simple stomach illness became suspicious. A cholera outbreak looked like mass poisoning. A faint chemical smell from incense resembled arsenic. A cloudy cup of tea looked tainted. With no authoritative answer, people assumed the worst. Contrary to modern assumptions, Edo had no formal poison police. But it did have powerful community surveillance systems, especially one gonin-gumi, the 5-household mutual responsibility system. These groups monitored deaths, sickness, suspicious strangers, conflicts, anything that could disturb the neighborhood. If poison was suspected, the gonin-gumi investigated first. 2. Informal neighborhood watch, because people shared wells, bathhouses, tea shops, vegetable sellers, food stalls. Residents kept extremely close watch on unfamiliar visitors, guests from out of town, vendors carrying powders, servants behaving strangely, new tea shops opening. 3. Town magistrates. Serious cases were escalated to the magistrate's office, which sent yoriki, assistants, doshin, police constables to examine homes, to question witnesses, inspect food or water. But their methods were pre-scientific and often inconclusive. 4. Special police. They rarely became involved unless serial crime, arson, organized murder were suspected. Let's look at 3 real panic incidents described in Edo-era diaries and local reports. Case 1. The bitter tea incident. Nihonbashi, mid-18th century, several customers vomited after drinking tea. Rumor spread instantly. The tea shop owner is poisoning people. What really happened? The tea was old, poorly stored, damp, mouldy natural food spoilage, but nearly destroyed the shop case too, the discoloured well Kansei era. A neighbourhood well turned a rusty colour. People whispered, someone threw poison into the well. Gonin-gumi banned drinking from it, an official later confirmed. It was iron sediment kicked up after heavy rain. But fear had already spread to nearby districts. Case 3, the servant accused. Late Edo period. A servant was blamed for poisoning his master's stew. The servant was beaten by neighbours before magistrates arrived. Investigation showed spoiled fish, poor summer storage, natural bacterial growth. Not poison, but the servant was nearly killed for nothing. These cases show the same pattern: sudden sickness, unclear cause, gossip, panic, false accusation, late scientific explanation. Fear filled the void between ignorance and reality. Poison rumors weren't always innocent mistakes. Sometimes neighborhoods used them strategically. Examples include driving out a disliked tea vendor, accusing an outsider of poisoning the well to force them to move, merchants spreading rumors about rival shops, servants using poison rumors to punish employers. In Edo, where reputation was everything, a well-timed poison rumor could ruin someone's life. It was an early form of social control, one that required no evidence. After the Meiji Restoration, new forensic science emerged. Newspapers began describing female criminals as dokufu, poison women, a sensationalist Meiji invention. But these fears weren't new, they were inherited from Edo. The urban anxiety, the mistrust of strangers, the panic around sickness, the uncertainty of daily life. Edo's poison panic teaches a universal lesson. When a society lacks trustworthy information, fear becomes its own form of poison. Edo's poisoning panic wasn't about poisoners lurking in every tea shop. It was about a city struggling to understand the dangers around it. In a world without science, even a bad sip of tea could ignite terror. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Edo's hidden history, be sure to like, subscribe, and explore our other stories about unpopular Japan history.